All right, let's take a look at it. The tale of the tape. All right, so run plays for LSU, 142. For South Carolina, 139. Outside zones for LSU, 52, which is 37%. For South Carolina, 10 outside zones, 7% of the run plays. Inside zone for LSU, it's 32, which is 23% of the run plays. For South Carolina, it is 42, which is 30% of their run plays. Some sort of a man scheme. You've got 32 runs for LSU, 23%, 18 for South Carolina, which is 13%.
What does a man scheme run mean? I don't know if I've ever heard of a man scheme run.
I'm thinking that they're talking
zone.
Duo is what I think that they're classifying that, because you got 2-on-2 and they're going to certain. That's what I'm going to guess.
Okay.
You go to power. 0. Not a.
Is it still 0 after the bye week?
God dang one for LSU. 17 for South Carolina, which is 12% of their run plays.
I didn't see one.
Counters. 10 for LSU, which is 7% of their run plays. 31 for South Carolina, which is 22% of their run plays. Q counters, I'm assuming with Lenore Sellers.
Maybe.
Is where they probably would get that number. Then you got like a lot of like draws. LSU's run 1, South Carolina's run 2. Let's see, pull leads. LSU hasn't run any of those either. 10 for South Carolina. Traps, LSU hasn't run any of those yet either. South Carolina's got a couple. So
I wonder what they consider zone reads. I wonder if that's what they call man principles.
I can get some more clarification on it.
Yeah.
I'll text the PFF guy. See if he can get it. I'm betting they throw duo in there as well. Just my guess. Just watching LSU's tape and knowing that that's certainly, if it's not inside or outside zone, that's what they've run.
The duo is just zone in the A gaps, right?
Yeah. So you got 2 double teams. Yeah.
Yeah. So like zone is basically inside zone is basically like a B gap, maybe bounce to C.
Yeah.
Outside zone is C to D. Depends if a stretch in an outside zone is a little bit different, right?
A little bit.
Not a lot, but a little bit.
Track's a little bit different for the back.
Duo is zone in the A gap, right?
Yeah, you're reading off the 2 double teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times it cuts behind one of the double teams.
Was duo ever like a zero hole? Like your aiming point was a center, or was it like off the cheek of a center?
Yeah, I mean you still have like zone principle steps.
Yeah.
You know, you're not like, it's not a drop step like a power. A power is a drop step because you're going A gap to expand.
Yeah, I know. Just your landmark though, like your aiming point. I
would say it's a little bit wider than you think.
Okay.
You're thinking.
I'm just really trying to figure out the difference between duo and a zone.
Oh, I can show you. Pull it up during one of the breaks, and we'll break it down.
Okay.
But the more troublesome thing I think when I see this is there's some run plays that you have 0, 0, 0. Mm-hmm. My thought in the run game's always been if you don't do something incredibly well, you continue to do things until you find something you do well. Because if you continue to run the same thing and you're not hitting hay, well, you got to move on from it. Like everybody jokes about how much we used to run power and toss dive. Now, toss dive wasn't really a thing when we were here. It was more horn ball, so it was a toss play that was not going to be a full like toss get to the edge, but you were going to read it, and a lot of times
now we had
inside.
power 9 toss.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like
the focal point of the
offense like it would have been years later.
So we did that really well. So that's why we did it a lot.
Mm.
We ran zone extra. Zone extra was a run where it was an I formation and you had a fullback in front of you. And the fullback, his coaching point was read it like you've got the ball. And we had Quinn Johnson and Sean Jordan did a really nice job of running that play. Both, high school running backs, and they could read it. Now, Sean, I thought that was like really where he excelled. Like that was his best play. And so he would read it like he had the ball. If there was a cutback, he'd cut it back, and then the running back would follow him. He's the extra in the zone extra. So we ran that a ton. Why? Because we were good at it. If there was something we weren't good at, we didn't do a whole lot of it. We moved on to the next one. So,
but you didn't have to do the other things because you had an identity in the running game that you were really good at. If there's no identity, what Jake's trying to say is if you got no identity, you might as well try some other things and try to figure out what you're good at.
Yeah.
You probably have an idea. You have to have an idea that you don't think your strength in the run game is power based on spring practice, based on training camp. You're like, we're just not great at running power. It doesn't fit with what we're trying to do offensively with the RPO game, blah, blah, blah. Because like a power, it's hard to run power a little bit more in the RPO game because it's not this most sound pass protection, of course, especially if you're trying to run 3-step timings behind it. And in power, you have to so the point of power is why we think that a play like that should be implemented into the game is because LSU's getting beat on a lot of stunts in games by the defensive linemen. So how do you defend zone? Well, you cross your defensive tackles and your defensive ends. You try to get the defensive tackles to engage the guard and loop a defensive end behind it.
Yeah.
You do a lot of stuff. It's almost like the same philosophies as like a pass rush. You're trying to fill the gaps, fill the voids, and you have your defensive line play laterally. They don't get up the field. They play laterally and play big boy ball. And it just makes it hard for you don't have a lot of daylight in between each offensive lineman. So what does a power type play do? It eliminates the good part of defensive doing that. So it takes that out. So you get your tackle and your tight end, and basically they just wash down the side. Yeah. They just push everybody down, and then you have a guard that's pulling around. So it doesn't matter if they do the ETs and the stunts and the crosses from the defensive linemen and defensive ends because instead of trying to work up the field like in a zone, instead of the linemen having to work up at the second level, all their job is to kick some butt and wash people down and let your pullers come around and go to the second level.
Down and around.
So it doesn't matter what kind of game. So that's why you need to throw those in because if you throw those into the game and all of a sudden a defensive coordinator sees 4 or 5 powers, they're like, okay, well, we can't run those defensive end, defensive tackle games right now to defend the zone because we could get powered and just get washed down. So you have to be versatile. You have to throw different looks so you make it tough on the defensive coordinator.
And it doesn't have to be perfect when you're doing that. I mean, because it's like you just get a shoulder and you just barely knock the defensive guy off his track, and it's like that's all I need.
And that's the big issue that I've seen on the running game this year is everything is trying to get to the exact perfect play, the exact perfect call from the offensive lineman.
Yeah.
They're there communicating, and you have to communicate as an offense. It's not just football is a lot of brute and meathead stuff, but there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of rules to every single play. The same run play might not look the same 5 different plays in a row because different defensive looks. They're always communicating on their assignments. I think they've been over communicating. I think they need to decomplicate it a little bit, make it a little bit more simple, and let those guys just go put their head in somebody's chest.
Yeah, real quick, last point. I know we are up against the clock. Let's go back to duo real quick. I know it looks like inside zone. It does. It's got a lot of the same look to it, but it's actually it's a man gap rule. And so in theory, right, it's supposed to be a vertical power style run, and you don't have pullers obviously in it. And so zone's a little bit more side to side where duo is supposed to be vertical.
Yep.
That's supposed to be it. But with that being said, when you go vertical, you got to go vertical with authority.
Yeah.
That's another part of it.
Yep.
Duo can't be passive. Again, it's like man gap. It looks like zone. I get that. Running back does a lot of the same steps and stuff, but it's supposed to be like an interior gap run scheme.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're still just kind of holding point a little bit, holding point over here, it's you're not cleaning it up for the running back. So even that, I'd rather you go fast. And even if you're not perfect, if you're wrong, let's say the defensive player tries to go outside of the double team. That's fine. That's now my guy. I've got to get to where I need to get to faster than he can get to me because you're going like a bat out of hell with bad intentions, vertical. And then that's what I'm reading. And so even that play, technically, the man scheme part of, you're like, well, you got to get your man. No, just clean it up for me. Just go fast and clean it up for me. I'm not saying it's going to work every time, but it's going to give me 4 yards.
Yep.
And right now, 4 yards is good.